This is your spring rundown 175. Let's get it. All right, welcome back everyone to Spring Rundown 175. Today it's just me and Nam. Once again, Dan, he is looking at the Adam trees with Frankie, probably. I'm pretty sure he's he's trying to find a new some new boards to, so he could go skating, snowboarding on, right?
Snowboarding.
Yeah. So he's in the market, he's trying to find something, especially a little one. He's trying to find like a miniature one too. That way he can go ahead and get his daughter on the powder, as he calls it. So
It's not just as he calls it.
Well, I'm not from the north, so I found it weird when well, it's not weird, it's just different, you know what I mean? When somebody says powder, I'm thinking like, like baby powder or some shit, you know what I mean? Not snow.
I
So
mean, he's also trying to get on the baby powder too. You're not entirely wrong there.
That is true. He's looking for, if anybody wants to donate some baby powder, Dan needs some, and some boards from the Adam tree. So it doesn't matter. Either one works, he says.
By
So,
the way, it's Jewel Tree Adam.
yeah, that one. But either one works. Hit him up. He's willing to accept them, I reckon. So, but this week we are actually going to be talking about Daemons of the Shadow Realm, episode 10 and 11, Wistoria season 2, episode 9 and 10, and One Piece Elbaph Arc, episode 1165 and 1166. And so this week is like the next rundown. It's going to be like the finale for Wistoria. Pretty sure the finale for One Piece, because we probably only got like one more One Piece episode, maybe.
I hope we get 2 more.
You think it's going to be 2?
I really hope we get 2 more, or they combine like 2 episodes into one. Not to try and take away from anything, but because there's something very specific that I really hope we get to before we take the break.
Yeah, see, I haven't read the manga, so I don't know kind of where I think it's gonna end at. You know what I mean? It's definitely only, we're not getting more than three episodes. We're getting 1 or 2 probably before it's time to go on to summer season or whatever. So
More than likely.
But like I said, next time we get on the rundown, it'll be like finale time. So except for the Daemons of the Shadow Realm, and we'll probably announce what's going to be on summer during that episode too. Probably either that one or the next one. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But
when we figure it out, we'll you guys will know.
Yeah, we'll let y'all know somehow or another. But before we get started, linktree.com/anime Degens for all of our socials. Follow us on YouTube, Threads, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. We even got a Facebook page if you're a boomer like us. Just get on there and follow us. That's where you'll find out, what's going on with the Degens, and when new episodes drops and anything else I have time to talk about, when I do have time. So, but with that being said, Nam, are you ready?
Are you ready?
I'm ready as I ever be. I'm ready for the finales to start rolling in. I'm ready for the banger episodes to start rolling in. You know what I mean?
For sure. But before that, we got to get through some of the slower episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Starting with Daemons of the Shadow Realm, episode 10. Long Arm and Long Leg.
Granddaddy Long Legs. That's all I want to think about.
So we start off though with Dara waking up the old woman assassin, and the group all comes together to come up with a plan And that plan is for Dara to claim himself to be the master of right and left. So Long Arm and Long Leg doesn't even bother trying to go after Yuru right now. They all are in agreement. Everything is going on. Long Arm and Long Leg are looking to get revenge because they've been sealed for like 1,200 years now at this point. And so Dara starts running as all the Daemons are fighting, which allows Yuru and the woman to kind of just like do some off-screen stuff. I don't know. We didn't even see anything really.
Yeah,
Um,
Dara's lucky though. I'm just gonna say this much because I feel like Yuru, like he's about the same as Luffy. Anytime that Luffy gets a chance to shout his name and say, "I'm gonna be king of the pirates," guess what Luffy does? He shouts his name and says he's gonna be king of the pirates. And
yep.
that's what Yuru does too, except for without the King of the Pirates part. He's like, I'm Yuru, blah blah. Like he wants people to know who he is. So Dara is very fortunate that, or I I don't think Dara is, but I guess Yuru is very fortunate that he didn't blab. He didn't start yapping because I feel like he could have been in a lot of danger at that point.
Yeah, probably.
But I thought that
Probably
was
a
pretty
whole lot.
funny. Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny because you could tell he was itching. Like it's just like, can he do it? It just sweat starts rolling down. Is like, oh man, he's not gonna make it. He's gonna say it, but he didn't. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was definitely pretty clever too, because if you noticed, Wright wasn't exactly catching on to the plan, and Left kind of like just gave him that look, and then he was like, "Oh yeah, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
He's totally our master."
He's obviously the dumb one of the bunch. It's like, it's so funny, Dom.
Yes. Um, but yeah, another thing too is that Dara's pistol is of no effect against these two. He tries shooting them, and it does absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense though. You know what I mean? Like, pistols it's hard to use guns against things like this. If you was able to use guns like that against creatures like this, then effectively a lot of the times, then I guess there wouldn't be any reason to have Daemons, right?
Yeah, it would kind of trivialize everything.
Yeah.
So from there, Yuru and Dura they actually meet up and they start planning on how to take down Tanaga Ashinaga, and that's when we learn of the woman and who sent her, right? And she was told specifically, like, she's not to actually affect anyone, right? She's not to hurt anyone. She's not to kill anyone. She's only meant to follow them, learn where they're going. And so we also learned too that the one who sent her was actually Asuma.
Mm-hmm.
The one who was like, yeah, the family or the village should be under the control of a larger family and stuff like that. He was like trying to be all peaceful and middle groundish, and turns out that he is actually just as conniving as the rest of them.
I mean, what do you expect? You know what I mean? Like when you have someone that looks like that, like literally, like you can look at them and be like, "Hey, man, this guy's sus." You know what I mean? He's got some shit he's trying to do. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure.
He literally looks like a snake, does he not?
I mean, kind of.
I mean,
um,
here's your sign. You know what I mean?
yeah, for sure. But anyways, they do resolve to try and find the master and end it that way. The woman even agrees to help them out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously two people looking for the master as opposed to one should end it a lot faster. And Long Arm and Long Leg have right and left pretty much held down at this point. Like they're using their limbs, they got him trapped, and Dara actually gets a sniper rifle and he actually blows a hole through Long Leg's eyes, and he hits Long Arm in the leg, which kind of like makes her unable to walk on her own,
Mm-hmm.
which really opens them up so that way right and left can actually get that big attack in. But the problem is that as they slam them together, the two kind of fuse together to create one being.
A dock.
God.
You don't like my wording, Dom?
No, I do not.
Is that not the official term for it? Docking? That's what they did, right?
I mean, yes. Yes, it is. But anyways, so now they actually become the yokai known as Tanaga Ashinaga.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually reach out and they grab the old woman and they're getting ready to eat her.
Good.
Not good, because before they do, she actually reveals who Yuru is to try and save herself.
I don't think it matters. He was going to tell him anyways. You know, it was just a matter of time.
Yeah, but when the time was right, she just spoiled it for him.
He was itching, Nom. He was raring to tell him, and she just did him a favor. She allowed him to come. She allowed him to be himself. I love that about her.
Sure, we'll go with that. But anyways, she's about ready to be crushed. Yuru jumps in, throws his axe. He finally does the thing. He finally does it, Tyler. He announces who he is.
I'm one of the twins of the
that's Sunder night and day.
Yeah. I'm Yuru.
And then from there, he tells right and left to stand down, which is kind of bold, right?
It's very brave, yeah. Especially since you just seen what these things are capable of. You know what I mean?
Yep. So he starts running and he dodges all of their attacks. One thing that he actually took note of was that when he was at the house, they didn't actually attack recklessly. That is.
Yeah. I didn't really pay attention. I didn't really pay attention all that much to that. So, it's interesting that you mentioned that, as it does come into play. So,
yes. They finally end up getting to a point where they're almost trapping Yuru. They actually end up even taking a skull and they throw it at Dara way out in the background. Mm-hmm. But just as they get him pinned down, Yuru actually ends up bluffing them. And he tricks them thinking that he already has the power of seal, which opens them up for right and left to come in and really finish them off. And it was actually really kind of like cool and sad at the same time, because they get Long Arm into the water, right? Like Long Leg is still blind, so he can't see anything. Long Arm gets thrown into the river, where left turns into a statue, just completely crushing her and holding her down there.
Mm-hmm.
As she's reaching out for help, right bites her arm, prevents it from getting to Long Leg, and then Dara ends up shooting Long Leg's head off, finally turning them back into their original sealed forms.
Which is, it's interesting because like they was able to like defeat them so easily after like cooking them up to be such hard foes. You know what I mean? But I did enjoy finally seeing like left and right like being put to work. You know what I mean? Like actually getting a like feel of like what exactly can they do? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think a lot of the them getting to work and stuff like that is, I think it's because we finally get to see them also like being empowered by their master, right? Which would allow them to react in a much more definitive way,
Mm-hmm.
and it be more empowered in their actions, right?
Yeah.
So it would make sense that once Yuru was the one that gave them the command, it would empower them to be that much stronger in their fight.
Yeah, because the only thing he's really like said, like commanded them to do so far throughout his like ownership is like, you know, basically
Save people.
stand down, save people, um, let me handle
But
things, do what
find
you,
this find this person, take me
yeah,
there.
yeah,
They've been basically given a bunch of fetch quests, so you've never really seen what they're supposed, like what they can do and stuff.
yeah.
Like
So,
they've been super overpowered the entire time since the game started, and you haven't even used them for anything useful, right? Like you could have had them massacre an entire village. Meanwhile, you're like, let's send you on 20 fetch quests until then.
yeah,
Go here, do this,
go
save this
save the kitty
person.
cat, right? Instead of actually
Go
fighting the
go go
demon
buy
king.
go buy me eggs.
I mean, that's basically what it is, though. Also, I found it pretty cool. You know how we was talking about how like guns wasn't effective, you know, towards most Daemons. But then again, in this episode, it also shows us that certain guns can be effective against certain Daemons, which is pretty interesting because like now, like how do you like
Well, okay. So Derek kind of
do that?
explained this. Derek kind of explained this, right? And it said they've been sealed for so long, they have no idea about this kind of gun and weaponry.
Yeah,
I think daemons that haven't been sealed and are like
they've
more
adjusted
attuned to the
maybe.
modern world, yeah, they've been able to adjust to it and they can be prepared for it. Compared
Okay.
to Tanaga Ashinaga, which probably dealt with a fairly rudimentary pistol back in the day, right? Or even like a rifle that shot like a pellet,
Yeah.
which would be on caliber or on par with like say modern day pistols
Mhm.
calibers.
Yeah.
So,
So you think there's like some like evolution, adjusting like going on or some shit to
oh
with
yeah,
Daemons?
oh yeah, most
Makes sense.
definitely.
Because I mean, I would like to see like if like a sniper rifle like that is able to like do damage to other Daemons too, like that's been alive for, you know, not been sealed. I know it probably can't do anything to like left and right because like they're made out of stone or supposedly and all that stuff, and it doesn't matter, you
Or
know.
like the daemons are more attuned to it and are able to better adjust to the weapon, right? Like if they need to dodge out of the way, they'd be able to sense different things
Yeah.
or, notice different things beforehand, right?
I would be
Basically they
interested
have
though.
evolved though to the weapons as opposed to
Yeah.
those two daemons.
Well, like I said, I would be interested to see like see them like explain that a little bit more, like how it compares to like a modern like one that's been not sealed. You know what I mean? Like
Oh
how
yeah.
it differs. You know?
I mean,
Oh
trust me, we will find out
yeah.
soon.
You
I
think
I
so?
can promise I can promise you that we're gonna find out. Dara is a gun user. Hana is a gun user. We are going to find out.
They got the Blickies on
Yeah,
standby.
exactly. But speaking after the fight, left and right realize the moth that's been flying around them, and they kill it. While also revealing that the Kagemori daemon, or this is the Kagemori daemon that's been following them the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
They speak about getting out of the house as the episode ends, but the group is still inside.
Yeah. It was pretty smart though, the Kagemori. What's his name? Asuma, I think it was.
Yes.
To do something like that. So, but yeah.
I don't know if I would say smart because now you've just kind of like burned the only bit of trust that you had with them.
To be fair though, did they really have much trust? You know what I mean? Because they literally sent a tail after them. You know,
Well,
so
and that's exactly it. Is that because that tail is there, you've now lost that trust.
yeah, but they didn't really have any trust to begin with. Is what I'm
I would,
saying.
I know, I would have said so, right? Like,
Mm,
if obviously be on edge.
I think they was on speaking terms. I think they're still on speaking terms now. It's
I
just,
don't know. I don't think so. After this, I think
you think so?
Asuma ruined it.
Hmm. I mean,
Yeah.
that's it. I mean, it could be. You could be right. I mean, I would assume that Drew doesn't care, and I think it. That's all that matters is if Drew cares or not. So now Tadera or Dara, you know, I think he's obviously looks in. It's more serious to him. You know what I mean? So
I mean, it's a very serious thing in general. That's why I
yeah,
was saying, like,
yeah.
I think it is going to be something that is going to have more lasting repercussions in the long run.
I hope so. Hope they
Um,
fight over it.
more than likely they will. Don't worry, Tyler.
I hope. I
Uh,
hope. I hope little sister, gets mad about it and fights him.
I wouldn't be surprised if she does. So, from there though, we go to episode 11, Big Brother and Little Brother.
Mm-hmm.
Asumo's Daemons mention how the moth has been destroyed, but they know the location of his hideout. They now know actually how to also get in there and out, which would actually allow them to be able to recover the agents that they have sent in over the years. Something that they have not been able to recover in all this time.
Mm-hmm.
But the group inside looks under the house and they discover a boy hiding under there. His name is Ken Tadera. He's there because it's his dad's house,
This
which
is so funny,
leads
dog.
Dara.
I was going to say this is hilarious.
Oh my god, who are you telling? Um, but Dara starts freaking out because he's like, I don't have a kid. What are you talking about? You're not mine.
He's like, wait,
Wait.
do I have a kid?
And then he gives it like a solid like 5 second pause, and then he's like, "Who's your mom?" And then he's like, "I definitely don't know her. You're definitely not my kid."
Thank God, please, thank God.
Um, it turns out though that this is Dara's younger brother,
Mm-hmm.
and his name is Ken. He's 13 years old. Um, he reveals that he knows Yuru's parents because his dad told him all about them, right?
Mm-hmm.
He also reveals that the elder Tadera taught them how to escape from the village. This all happens while the woman is still present, and she doesn't actually want to know any of this stuff because if she does, then she'll have to reveal it, and she doesn't want to have that kind of burden on her, conscience.
Mm-hmm.
So Dara actually leaves it up to Yuru to decide whether she lives or not.
We
And
all
he's like,
knew.
yeah, you know what? I don't sense any bloodlust from you. Go ahead. That's it. It's all it took.
I mean, even though Yuru is kind of like hard, he's not, a savage unless he needs to be. Unless he's a savage when, fangs are bared. But when times are peaceful, he's a pretty chill dude, He's like, he's almost too forgiving, you know what I mean?
Most definitely too forgiving. Um, but at the same time, the woman is super grateful because she does have a family at home. which is another factor into why he decided to actually allow her to live.
Mm-hmm.
So kudos to him for having the conscience. From there, we learn of Daemon contracts and a little bit about how they work and stuff like that. Namely, that you can actually dissolve a contract. The thing is that it has to actually be amicable between both parties. So that's actually the reason why Ken was not able to get rid of the two, long arm and long leg. He only summoned them because he wanted strong Daemons to be around because he can't find his father. His mom is dead at this point. He's got nothing and no one.
Mm-hmm. He was lost
Mm-hmm.
and all alone. So I mean, I don't blame him. I wonder if like he specifically chose them or like if he just got lucky. You know what I mean? Or unlucky, I guess you could say. I don't know.
I think he got unlucky.
Yeah,
I think
that's
he
what I was
sought them
thinking.
out and then got unlucky.
Yeah, maybe they just happened to be around the area that he was in when he was wanting, Daemons or something. I don't know how it all works. So,
No, I think he knew about them and then sought them out
oh, okay,
specifically.
yeah. Hmm.
Um,
He
but
bit off more than
anyways,
he could chew. Is all I know to say.
exactly. Um, and then we even get to see a scene too where right and left actually, or what is it? Yuru asked right and left if like he were to ask them to dissolve the contract if they would, and they're like, I mean, we wouldn't be happy about it, but absolutely, if that's your wish.
I mean, we have to kinda.
I mean, it's not that they have to, but if that's what he wanted
Yeah.
them to do, then he's like, all right,
I mean,
by all means.
at the end of the day, he's the master, and he kind of gets to tell him what to do for the most part. So,
Yeah, and they're gonna listen no matter what.
mm-hmm.
um, but we also get to see them scold Ken right and left for summoning Long Arm and Long Leg.
Mm-hmm.
This is when they actually let the woman out who says she's actually gonna go quit, and she just peacefully walks away.
And she's like, I'm tired of this shit. I'm getting too old for this.
Yes. Ken decides to tell the group a little bit more, which actually isn't much of anything. We do learn a little bit more about the older Tadera, whose name is Roe. He might actually still be alive. And Lost House is not actually Dara's, it is Roe's.
Mm-hmm.
He never actually passed it on, so, it's still there, but that's also why the house never reacted when Dara was in danger.
Yeah, it's starting to make a
Sigh.
little sense now.
Yep. Um, Ken also reveals all the pains he went through with Long Arm and Leg, right? All the torture that he endured and stuff like that. That's actually when they all decide to return home. And Hana's actually pleased to see Yuru, but it's not for the reason that Yuru thinks it is. Because he's like, oh, she's so sweet. She actually cares that I'm alive. No, it's because she doesn't have to pay any medical bills.
She was
That's why
like,
she's happy.
how are we gonna be able to eat if he's hurt? It's so funny.
Yeah.
I love Hana.
um from there we actually see Ken walk in as well, and she starts freaking out a little bit because she's like, oh great, another freeloader, and this is my husband's son who I didn't even want to marry because I wanted to marry Jason Statham instead. And now I have this illegitimate love child who he doesn't even know about moving in with us.
This whole thing was so funny, Nom. It's just her like
The
seeing
whole
all these
monologue.
things and coming up with assumptions, and it just kept on getting worse and worse in her head, and she just kept on getting madder and madder, and she's like, why am I even here? Why am I married to this man? Why am I even going along with this stupid ass plan with this dumb ass idiot?
It was so great though. All of it was so great.
uh
Um but yeah, so they actually end up getting the his checkbook, right? And turns out that it hasn't been updated in a while. So she sends Dare to go do that. He comes back. Turns out the kid is loaded.
yeah.
Like straight up just rich as fuck. And Hannah's like, all right, you can stay forever.
Forget about Jason Statham. I got all the money I need now.
No, I think it's just she's gonna make the best out of her situation, is what it is.
Oh yeah, instead of having just another person added to the bill or whatever, now she's got somebody to take care of the bill, so she ain't got to work. She can just chill at home with her dog and cat, right?
Exactly.
And put up with dumbass Dara over there, you know.
That's definitely one way of putting it. But anyways, Hana also teaches Yuro a few things about combat, such as bloodlust and stuff like that, and the ability to kill. All the while, though, we have the cat Daemon in the background trying to play with Ken's knot, literally clawing up his back and just like trying to swat at it the entire time everything is going on.
So funny. I love it.
We do get to learn a little bit more about Ken's upbringing and his mannerisms in this final scene, including just how kind of a person he is, as well as how thoughtful Dara and Hana are for the group, right?
Yeah.
Like one of the last things we see is Dara has the ashes of Ken's mom. So that was really touching. That was really sweet. And that was the end of the episode. So we didn't really get too much of a big setup for that, but we do have a little bit more information about what's going on in regards to the mother and stuff like that and the father. So that was kind of big.
Yeah. I think this whole, like, I ain't gonna call it an arc, but this whole section, I guess, of like going and to find it was all basically to find out more information about his parents. I think we got that. We got enough for now. Obviously we didn't get a lot, but we at least got some leads, which should get us going into like the next bit of stuff. So I'm just don't know where we're going yet. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're almost to the mid-season finale, and like, it's not really. I'm gonna be very surprised if it doesn't like pump up, uh, within the next couple episodes. Because usually it does. You know what I mean? Usually something happens in a 2 hour show if you get to the like the mid-season finale part. You know what I mean? The first cower end or whatever.
I think it will.
We gotta have some kind of like uh antagonist. I don't think we have one right now, right?
Not exactly. We've been kind of like still building up
The
to
world.
that point. But
Yeah.
that's the thing, is like a lot of the world and stuff like that, like even with Full Metal, it wasn't about this one big antagonist for quite a while.
Yeah.
It was all about all these smaller adventures that kind of tied everything together and established what kind of a world we're in. And I think that's realistically what it is that we're going through right now.
Yeah. I think I think hopefully it starts cooking soon, cuz I think it is going to being this late in, we're getting pretty deep into the world building and information dumps and stuff like that. So I feel like it's about that time. We're fixing to get dropped a pretty good lesson here in a little bit, I feel like. So
Oh yeah, definitely.
well, is that you got anything else for Daemons?
I do not. That would be
Oh,
all that I have.
now we get on to Wistoria season 2, episode 9, the page to be turned. And I don't know if you remember or not, Nam, but a couple weeks ago, we ended off on a little cliffhanger about I forget her names, uh Sir Circilian or some shit. I don't know, the witch with the red and blue hair. You know what I mean?
Peridwin?
Yeah, that one. That one. The one that I could not pronounce her name. I forget what I nicknamed her. I nicknamed her something, but I can't remember. Um, but anyways, she was trying to get the boys to undress. You remember that, right?
Yes. Well, it turns out it wasn't the boys, luckily.
No, it wasn't both of them. She didn't want both of them to undress. She just wanted Will to undress. So, but thankfully it was only a shirt, and I thought this was like a pretty funny scene because like he's over here like trying to cover up, and I'm just like, man, you're like, how many times have you had your shirt off? You know what I mean? Like you're ripped, bro. You should be ripping that shirt off like Baywatch people. You know? Come on now.
Baywatch people, it's
I mean, that's what they did, right? I mean, he basically should be doing that. Cause I mean, he's jacked, bro. We don't get to see like him shirtless very often, but that kid is jacked. Like he's got abs for days. Cause he just works out so much. You know what I mean? Um,
you're not wrong.
but yeah, I thought it was I thought it was pretty funny that like she's just so interested in Will. I was like, man, are we actually gonna have like a pervy, sensei person or whatever? And it's like, yep, we got it. We got a pervy witch. She's here. She's finally here. So, but she actually, helps Will out, instead of just like looking at, him without a shirt on, trying to get his clothes off or whatever. She actually has a purpose to the reason why she's doing it. And, she's trying to basically find um a like a part of his body that's kind of like sealing up um like his power, his past, I guess you could say, if that makes sense. um and because her theory is actually like he's not able to use magic because his body actually like locks grabs and locks up all the magical energy that comes through him and locks it away, which is interesting because like this is the first time we've kind of heard this, and it's it's
She
hard.
said that he's like glutton for
Yeah.
magic, which was a very interesting phrasing to me.
Yeah, it's it's so weird because like for one thing, like how does she know? How does she know this about like this kind of situation? You know what I mean? Like I feel like Will is like an anomaly, right? Like he doesn't there hasn't been many people like him before, so how does she know exactly how to fix him and like what's going on with his body? Do you have any guesses?
No, but I think ultimately someone like Will is so unique that he's talked about throughout the magic world.
Maybe she knows like past experiences or some shit.
And not just that, I think that ultimately everyone in the world is trying to figure out about him. And so everyone has their own theories and such,
Yeah.
right? I don't think anyone in particular is like, oh, yeah, it's gotta be, just like so and so. I think no, he's totally
Yeah.
unique,
Yeah, he's Will.
and
Yeah.
this is something that people are just kind of experimenting with and trying to see what happens.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's a good thing that like her experiment, her theory, I think she kind of knew, she was pretty confident that she was right. And, we learned pretty fast that, she was sort of right because she's able to use her magic to actually unlock that part of his body for him. I guess if that makes sense. She just had to
Mhm.
find out where it was. And that part of his body was actually his scar on his back from his childhood days. Which is one, like I said, which is one of the reasons why she wanted him to take his shirt off, take his clothes off, because she had to see kind of like where his body was locking this magic up at, basically. That way she could attempt to unlock it. So that's all like a pretty cool revelation, honestly. Like it's somewhere I did not think we was gonna go. Um, but it's interesting. So now we're in a flashback, actually like a dream state flashback, of the past. And it was actually really cool to see how they animated this. It was like very bright, negative coded, I guess you could say, for the most part. Like it was like really cool to see how it was all like displayed. That way you didn't get confused, even though you wasn't gonna get confused because like they're kids, you know what I mean? Like it's easy to see. But did you like the animation difference here?
Uh, a bit, yeah. Uh,
Was it a bit too much?
especially no, I liked a lot of it because of how symbolic it was, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like it was meant to portray this memory state, so it wasn't supposed to be absolutely perfect. And it also like it tiptoed along a certain way that allowed him to still be able to see things outside and after the fact as opposed to just like a total like recreation of everything that he had already dealt with, right? And that's
Mm-hmm.
what I thought was probably the coolest thing in general.
Yeah, because he was able to like I guess see what was going on from his perspective, but also see like around him and be aware of like his current self while his past self was dealing with these issues. It's not like he could change anything. He had to just watch it and act along with it and be forced to do things that he did back then, but he was also aware of like what was going on and like what had happened and all that stuff, you know what I mean? So it was pretty cool to
Hmm.
see. And like it also reminded me of like the OP too. I think it's along the same lines as that, as we got the OP scene where like Elfie's leading him along with her arms raised up or whatever, and I was like, that's pretty, like, it's one of my favorite parts of the OP. So, like, this is pretty cool. We actually get to see something like that going on. So, but,
Yeah.
uh, but yeah, this was back when Elfie and Will, they're little kids. They're very small. And we basically see like we get in there the dream state. We see Elfie. She's just like full on crashing out because she thinks Will is cheating on her with some other chick or something from the orphanage. Like she's like, you're not looking at me enough. You're not paying me enough attention. Are you cheating on me? What's with that little girl that you're always so nice to at the orphanage? Is there something going on between her? I was like, yo, chill, Elfie.
She don't
this
know how to chill.
this dude, he ain't got eyes for nothing but you know what I mean? And I don't know, it's fun seeing that side of Elfie, because we've always seen her as like that, the cold,
She's
icy,
all
queen.
well,
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, especially like when she was like, "Oh, you could take a little nap on my lap or whatever, right?" And then she tries to like kiss him while she was like while he's sleeping. And like I just found all that hilarious. And Will's just like, how am I gonna like face Elfie now after knowing she was trying to kiss me while I'm sleeping back then or whatever, you know? I was like, bro, this is hilarious. This dude is so innocent. It's not even funny. So um
Pretty funny.
it is pretty funny actually. But so the whole point of this like flashback dream state thing was Will needed to encounter a memory that he had forgotten about. Um, and that was a memory of Elfie actually wanting to defeat a monster that was in the forest behind the orphanage. And it wasn't just any monster. It was a man-made monster created essentially for war. So this thing, you know, it like deflected like it reflected magical attacks. Like it was a crystal monster. They said like it was not a man. It was not a common monster. It was something like a probably a Magia Vonder would have had trouble with. I would assume, but you also wonder like how something like this gets loose behind an orphanage. Like I almost want to say, was it placed there by something or someone wanting to test Will's powers back then? Like awaken them? Like, oh, let's put this here and let's, uh try to get Elfie to take him there and let's see what happens, see if he's actually him or not. You know what I mean? Do you think it has something to do with that, or you think it's just like a coincidence?
I think that ultimately it was a coincidence.
Hmm. I'm still not. I'm still not sold on that. I really do think. I think that somebody put it there.
I think
It's.
there are certain things that have been put places, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that one I do believe um was just happenstance.
I mean, I hope so because like whoever's put it, like if somebody actually did put that there, Nom, they're a piece of shit for putting that beside an orphanage, and wanting to see if Will and Elfie, was able to live or die after encountering it. You know what I mean? Especially like a man-made creature of war. Like that's like a serious thing to do. So,
Oh
uh,
yeah. But I mean, do you honestly expect much else from
I don't. Yeah, I don't. I mean, we've seen it time and time again. People's always like, you know, messing with Will, and that's why I can't get around the fact that like it is a coincidence. I think it was, on purpose for whatever reason. So just who did it? Why did they do it? So, um, but yeah, like I said, this thing it basically had the ability to reflect magic attacks back at the user that sent them. And that's actually how Will got his scar on his back, because he actually jumped in front of Elfie and saved her life when she was trying to fight it, because she thought that she was you know, a very strong, warrior back then. And she was like creating clones and shit back then, which is insane for her age, but it just has no match against something like that. So,
yeah.
um, but there was always like memories that he couldn't actually remember. And that was what came next. So apparently a the witch, we've seen her a few times in like some of his memories, right? uh we've seen her a few times, and like when this monster started attacking, like she popped up and she basically like was like, okay, um you can do your thing now. She basically gave him permission to awaken his power back then, and like his mind as a kid, is what it seemed like. And he actually activated it, and like he defeated the monster easily because he had the power of the Whis, and Elfie's magic and stuff like that, and he was able to like just shit on it, no problem. But like I said, he forgot about that because like that part of him got locked up inside him. So, and that's the part that uh she wanted to unlock with her magic, and to for him to be able to control the Whis again, he had to go through all of his memories again. So, um, but yeah, it's pretty much the flashback. He wakes up. He's been basically comatose for 6 days. The second bloom has already begun. But he's awake. He's ready to go. He's really confident that he's able to control, get back to that state at any time he wants to. So I thought it was a pretty good episode, especially considering we was in a flashback for most of the time. So
No, I mean that was actually a really good episode because again, it shows us a lot more of Will's past and stuff like that, and that was something that we didn't know anything of. And then to be able to see him like really grow through all of that and come out the other side the way he does, that shows a lot. And I was really glad to be able to see that.
yeah, um, and we also got to see like real quick before we move on to the next episode. Elfie always used to have a book with her, uh, and it was a book about a swordsman. It seemed like a swordsman going on an adventure. And Will says, looking back, he says at one point, looking back, that the person in that book kind of reminds him of Mr. Finn, which is interesting because Mr. Finn is like his adoptive parent, I guess you could say, right? Something like that.
He's that little kid that we always see
Yeah.
all the time.
Well, yeah, but he was the one that talked to the witch back then, right? That one witch that popped up in his head, and he's basically like his god parent or something. Like he's the one that like kind of raised him, I guess, or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's interesting that Elfie has a book that of someone that resembles Mr. Finn, and it's been hinted that Mr. Finn has been alive for a long time. So what's the odds of that actually being Mr. Finn? You know what I mean? It's interesting. It's interesting to think about, Nom. It's also I think it's kind of dropping some hints right now on what's going on. We just don't know what the hell's going on yet. So
I think that one might be a stretch, but I'll let you have it.
look, I'm used to Oda cooking, and I think they're trying to cook like Oda. You know what I mean? They're trying to throw something in there for us, and I'm trying to help them out, Nom.
Like I said, I'll let you have this one.
I believe in them. I'm gonna see what happens. So, but moving on to episode 10, hoping, blooming, and thundering. So this episode, it actually starts off with showing us that Elfie is basically worried to death. She's frustrated that she can't help Will anymore than she already has. Like basically everything now is up to Will. She's done all she can do. She's begged all she can beg. And she's just gotta hope that Will can surpass his limits and do his thing, what I thought was funny though is like she's literally sitting there in like a little cage thing or whatever, and she's got a plushie, and it's a plushie of Will. I was like, bro, this is kind of like stalker levels, to be honest with you. I'm kind of worried about Elfie now. I'm kind of worried about Will, you know?
I don't know. I mean, at this point, I think that the fear is already way gone, right? she's already full blown psycho stalker, so you've kind of already missed your opportunity to be able to change anything.
I was going to say, she was very possessive as a kid, and it seems like she's only gotten worse now since she can't have her little toy beside her side now. So I'm afraid for Will, because if he actually does get to be by her side, I don't think she will allow him to leave it. She will lock
I
him
don't
up.
think yeah, he doesn't want to leave her side either, though, is the thing. Let's be honest.
I'm
Dude's down
scared.
bad, down bad.
Everybody, we're all thinking that the best case scenario for Will is to be by Elfie's side to achieve his like childhood dreams, the promise that he made, and all that stuff. That's actually the worst place for him to be. You know, he's gonna
I
get
don't know if I would
mistreated.
say that. I don't know about that, but at the same time,
She's gonna turn him into a doll, Nom, a life
no.
size plushie.
No.
But it was funny to see that though. Um, it is also nice to see like all his like new friends and old friends too, like worrying about him too. Like they go up to work and it's like, what can we do to help? Blah blah blah, and they're just like, trust the process. Will's always been a workaholic. He'll figure a way out, especially with what's her name helping him. So I really like that. I really enjoyed that scene. So, but now it's the time that we've all been waiting for. The second bloom. It's actually here. It's began. We have candidates already coming in. They're getting blessed. They're getting assigned a faction. One of them, I want to, I want to say the name. It's Mike Myers, and he got assigned to the dark faction. I thought that was hilarious. I literally chuckled out loud for like a couple minutes because I was like, are they actually like, making a Michael Myers reference? You know what I mean? Possibly. So, but outside of him, like I wasn't really interested in all the other ones. They're just nobodies, right? And because we're here to see Will, see what he's gonna do, see if his dream state thing, you know, done anything for him. But he's nowhere to be seen. Apparently they're fixing to close up shop, and he's not there yet. He's almost gonna miss his chance, but just in time, just in the nick of time, at the last minute, him and Julius, they finally barge in, and they're like, we're here. We're finally here. We're going to take the bloom. We're going to pass it." And basically the same scenario as before applies to Will. He has to use his own magic to defeat the magical monsters, which can only be killed by magic. If he tries to kill him with his sword, is melee without any magic on it, they will regenerate over and over and over. So before they got started though, it was pretty cool seeing like Elfie. She actually lets Julius join her faction, and he don't even have to do anything because like she was only holding out because like she wanted Will to join too or whatever. And she's like, "Okay, thanks for helping Will so much. You've been a great help. You can join my party now." I thought that was pretty cool. So
Yeah, for sure. I mean, overall, like the whole scene after the fact was just really, really cool because of how much everyone like really kind of stood up and stuff like that for him as well, and how happy everyone was for him.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it was definitely a great time. Even like Julius. Julius, one of the known haters of Will, right? And he's like, he even like gives him some encouragement. He's like, you know, if you don't uh take advantage of what I've done what I've worked so hard to give you or something like that, I'm gonna kick your ass or some shit like that. Basically his own way of saying good luck, which is pretty cool. Uh but Will, he steps up to the plate. He's able to you know, actually channel his inner Whist this time, and he takes out all the creatures no problem. Like there's nothing to worry about. Like literally no problem at all. It's like he didn't even have any issues, and I'm glad for him. Like I'm glad that he finally got the jitters out of the way. He finally unlocked his true self, I guess you can say. Um, but there's one thing, Dom. The research dude, he doesn't like that at all. He starts trying his best to get people to be like, yo, that don't count. You know, he's like, that don't count. We gotta find some other way. We gotta find another test. Um, Basically he's trying every possible way that he knows how to because he wants to get Will under a microscope ASAP.
And for those of you who are listening, just so you know, this was where Tyler was about to drop the show again.
I, I, you know, I had faith in it. I did. I had faith in it, but I even wrote in my notes. When I was actually first writing this down or whatever, and I wrote in my notes. After Will defeated the creatures or whatever, I was like, so what's next? What rule is next? What's gonna hold him back next? You know? And then I was like, no, I'm gonna believe. I'm gonna believe Nom. And then this dude starts going on his rant or whatever, and then I was like, okay, this is kind of bullshit, but let's see what happens. And then Zio, the lightning dude, the Magia Vonder for the lightning, he's the one, you know, that kind of acts like Bakugo, right?
Mhm.
Kind of looks like Bakugo in some ways too, but he like jumps up and he's like, you know, I'll vouch for you, little man. If you can tank one hit from me and live. And I'm just like, I like this dude. I like the way this dude thinks. I like this dude a lot, actually. And, and he doesn't even wait for Will to answer. He just like hits him with it. And Will's just like, oh shit. Everybody's like, oh shit. Like what's gonna happen? Like, is Will gonna die here? I was like, this is so cool, man. This is awesome. And Will is able to like use this sword to like eat up a lot of the magical energy or whatever, absorb it, and then he like tanks the rest of it. And he ends up like living through it. And I thought that was like a really cool way to uh, gain the respect and like become eligible, you know, in his own way. What do you think?
Definitely. I mean, not to mention, it also has one very, very big effect for him in the future.
What's that?
Well, what happened after Elfie hit him?
Oh, are you? Oh, okay. I thought you was theorizing something right there. So
No,
I
it's something
thought
that
you was
we had
coming up with
already
your own
seen.
theory. So,
Nope, it's something that we'd already seen, and now
uh,
we get to actually see him do it in action. For those of you who are listening, I'm talking about the fact that he now has the ability to call out lightning whenever he wants. He has
yeah,
now trapped that ability within his body and can now summon it at a moment's notice.
uh huh. So now he's got what ice. Now he's got thunder,
Yep.
and I mean this just also just goes to show you that like he basically can gain any kind of energy. Like that's what he is. You know, that's what kind of like magic he has. Like he may not be able to like cast magic, but that's his type of magic. His magic is like to take energy and you know use it, store it, use it, anchor it. Like he's like the ultimate anchor, basically, is what we've been told. So,
Yep.
which is pretty cool because like you know, there's a lot of options available for Will now after if he can figure out how to actually get things going, I guess you can say. Um But uh this research dude, he still wasn't having it really, even after, that big display and all that stuff. And I really respect like Zio a lot more now, because he was like, hey man, if you got an issue with it, then why don't you try to take one of those hits too? Like he did it, why can't you? I'm like, man, I like you. I like you a lot. And the dude was like, no, no, I don't want to do it. It's fine. I agree to it. I accept it. And that's basically how Will got, accepted to be into the tower. So next thing is, who's signing up for him, and obviously Elfie is, because she's the first one out of her seat. She literally, like Nam says, she hit him, tackled him to the ground because she's so happy that he was able to pass.
This is all that she's been waiting for
Yeah.
this entire time.
So, it's a big moment, but not so fast, Nam. We got
whoa.
yeah,
What you mean?
Slow your horses, uh Zio, who is a lightning dude who vouched for him, says that he jumps down. He's like, no, no, no. He's like, little old Will, he belongs to me. He ain't going with you, Elfie. And
that bitch.
Elfie, she's getting, a mean face on her right now. She's like, there's one thing I will not allow, and that's I will not allow anyone to take Will from me. And she's like popping up clones, and she's getting ready to fight too. So, and the episode ends like that. Will and Zio fighting. I mean, not Will, but Elfie and Zio basically like trying to fight over who gets Will. So, what do you think happens? Where's Will gonna have to go?
I think for story reasons, Zio's gonna end up being the one that takes him.
See, I'm thinking the same thing, because it would be. Even though I would like to see Elfie and him reunite and stuff like that, I do think it's early. It's really early. It's the second season. This is just the beginning of the story, apparently, right? And so,
Yeah,
like, how
it would
could
really
you do
further
that?
the plot
Yeah.
if they waited to actually bring those two together. And I think that that's ultimately what they're gonna do.
And honestly, he might actually benefit from having Zio as his, sensei. I think he needs someone with that fire in him, you know what I mean? To kind of, I guess, make him more confident in himself, you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't have that confidence. Elfie is like a crutch to him. And I think that, like, him going with Elfie at this point, after just discovering his, like, whist or whatever, his inner, magic and all that shit, I think that he will not progress as much as he needs to be. But I think that Zio will actually like light a fire under him. You know what I mean? Like, hey, let's get this shit rolling. Like, let's get you in tip top shape. Um, that's what I think. So, you think he's actually a better choice? Like, though?
I do think Zio's going to be the better choice. I think that's going to allow him to again master lightning, because I think that with everything that he's been through and as much as he's dealt with ice already, he's already got a good enough control over it.
Mm-hmm.
I think what's going to happen is that um Zio's going to teach him how to tap into it more, and then also sustain it longer.
Yeah. Through whatever means necessary.
Yes.
With no holding back, which is going to be fun to see. But I do think like Will's ultimate like goal for this story, I think, is like mastering all the elements probably, and then helping Elfie and the Magia Vonder take on some other form of, antagonist, type shit. You know what I mean? So I don't know, but we'll see. But that's all I got now. I don't know if you have anything else to add to these episodes. It was really good. It was really good episodes. Definitely
It
didn't end like
was.
I thought it was gonna be. So
Did you mention how the scene at the end about Elfie and Zia was after the credits?
that's
If not, for those of you who are watching, uh after the credits is when that final scene plays out.
okay. I was gonna say, yeah, I didn't think I missed anything from that, but yeah, that was after credit scenes, by the way. Which a lot of people, skip sometimes because they don't tell you about it. So,
Yep,
um,
they really snuck it in there, and luckily Crunchyroll did not let me continue on until I actually finished watching. So thank you, Crunchyroll. But yeah, there is an end credits for this episode of Wistoria.
so
Make
if
sure
you
you guys check it out.
if you're confused about what the hell we talked about in the last 5 minutes, you should probably go watch that. We was talking about that. So, um, also a little tip that I always like to do, like when I get to the end credits and there's like 3 plus minutes left when the credit starts rolling, I always look for end credits, extra credit scenes or whatever, because like I know that there shouldn't be that much time left at the end of the episode. Uh
Definitely not.
they always try to pull something, you know what I mean? Unless it's got some kind of like chibi version form, kind of like One Piece did that one time, with the what was it, Dr. Chopper or some shit? I forget. They had them little credit scenes or whatever. So,
Yep.
but that's all I got for this. It's interesting. We got 2 more episodes before the finale hits. Should be a fun wind down, I think, for the last 2 episodes. Maybe a setup for the next season. I don't know. We'll see what happens. So,
We shall see what happens. In the
mhm.
meantime, though, let's get on to some goat piece. We're going to be talking about the Elbaph arc. These episodes are going to encompass 1165 and 1166. And um let me see here. Okay. 1165, that one. Sorry, I was watching earlier with our buddy Thomas. For those of you who watched that episode, it's Psycho Slamma.
Mhm.
He just watched the Praise Me episode earlier.
Yeah, he's current now, right?
He is
Finally,
current.
after he's we'll have to ask him, but I'm pretty sure it's been a couple years now. He's been going slow and steady, so we plan on getting him back on and doing like a One Piece segment with him. Talking about all his journey and stuff, because we didn't really get to touch on it last time when we uh done the One Piece live action. So
Yeah, because that one was more about the live action, anyways.
yeah, so
Um, but no. So for this one, 1165, a welcome with friends, cups, and intruders seeking Loki. The Straw Hats all at their destinations are having fun doing what they wish. We learn of the owl Biblo, who has ate the grow fruit. That's actually why the books are growing large in his library. He can actually make any inanimate object grow, which is very useful, as Vegapunk points out, for the giants.
it is. Yeah.
um, we also see a kid using his age to pull off the ultimate Sanji move. Um, but overall, it's just very peaceful and a lot of fun in Elbaph these days, and that really upsets Luffy and Usopp
Yeah. It's their
because they
vision.
were
Their vision is different. So,
warriors of
yeah.
Elbaph, not children of Elbaph playing around.
Not,
Um,
peaceful warriors.
exactly. Uh, at this point, a kid starts storming through though after Luffy and lunges at him with a wooden sword. On his second swing, Luffy ends up taking his arm, breaks the sword, and throws a elephant gun right in front of the kid. This ends up scaring everyone else and gets the kid the scorn of everyone around him, also revealing his name to be Colin.
You know, I
Um,
like this kid, Dom, which, I seen him in the OP or whatever, and I called him out. I was like, he's going to have something to do with, what's going on or whatever. So I'm glad we finally got to see kind of like him introduced into the story, like introduced to, Luffy and them. It's cool to
yes.
see like what he is compared to like everyone else, like his mentality is different or whatever. So it's pretty cool.
Oh yeah. Um, but we also do get to see a little bit more as well, including his mother. It's Ripley, the teacher. Um, but we also learn that his father is actually a human.
Sanji's like, there's a chance? There's a chance?
Yeah, that's exactly what Sanji's thinking. Frankie, though, he finally learns that the tree is actually the jewel tree Adam, and he wants to go and see it because obviously that's what the Thousand Sunny is made out of.
Mm-hmm.
And Gerd actually has everyone do her a favor, and that's have a fashion show. So everyone who is not dressed at this point gets a makeover, and she only makes them in her spare time, but Zoro calls her basically Rudo or Rodo at this point, the pervert.
She's like, no, I'm not like him. I promise I'm not hentai. I'm not a perv. I just like making little
Little
ningen
human
clothes.
clothes.
Yeah.
But anyways, at this point, Luffy is off to the village to start his feast. Meat as large as a mountain to them, and plenty of drinks around. Like even when the giants are clashing their cups, the drops are literally big enough to refill the grogs of the crew. We even see that with Brooke. But from there, though, the giants retell the story of the Straw Hats help through the ages, and they party on. We even learn some of the giants and a little bit about what they did and how they got here to where they are now, and just about how everyone got what they wanted. And then Chief Jarl appears, and the only thing the Straw Hats see is the giant sword sticking out of his head.
Yeah, and poor Luffy, man. He actually thinks that that sword is actually sticking into his head. Poor dude.
You don't think it is?
No, I don't. That it's not possible, Nom. He shouldn't be alive if it is.
Tyler,
It's actually through his head.
that's actually in his head.
There's no way.
It
Oda,
is.
Oda, Oda did not cook here. He did not cook here.
Oda is cooking, and you will find out how in
Oda
just
did
a
not
bit,
cook
right?
there.
You will find out. So anyways, during the party, we have two uninvited cloak guests trying to enter tower. The same ones that appeared in the last episode, and they're looking for Loki. Two giant guards refuse the request when the woman in pink cloak motions to the one giant who drops his axe, collapses to the ground, and basically passes out or dies, one of the two. It's not
Mhm.
really clear. And then the woman demands to know where Loki is.
Yeah, interesting.
That is the end of the episode.
So I know you probably can't like clarify, but because it probably I don't know if it matters or not, but I'd like to guess her power. I think she's got some kind of gravity fruit.
Okay.
Am I right or wrong, or can you not say?
I'm going to elect not to say.
Okay, it's gonna be interesting because that's what I thought of. I actually thought of like something else, but like it just didn't seem as feasible. But like all the like lines around, like they literally made it where like it looked like they was being pressed down by gravity. And so I was like, maybe she's got some type of like gravity fruit in some way, you know? So I don't know. Pretty cool. Pretty interesting theory that I'm gonna see if I'm right or not later. So
That's a good way of putting it. But anyways, she that's the end of that episode. Anything else you want to talk about with that one?
no, I mean just party time, kinda party time while shit's happening in the background. I guess getting ready for the next arc and shit. So
Yep. All right, so episode 1166, Encountering Loki, Gunko of the Knights of God. The Straw Hats are still celebrating as the God's Knights are looking for Loki. Colin was running, it looks like, it almost looked like he was running in the castle, right? And he happened to look over and see the bodies of these giants passed out. It kind of looked like also that he wasn't there and he just happened to look over in presumably what was like somebody falling over type fashion, and you just happened to look in that area, right? um, but he just keeps on going. Roto continues to get bullied, justifiably though,
obviously,
and
yeah.
he also proclaims how every giant wants to be the sun god and rule the world, which actually starts a massive brawl with the giants because a lot of them are calling out other gods, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Chief Jarl here, he actually mentions the Harley text and it being made of pure white, like Luffy's Nika form. And the name of this being is actually Nika. Uh, the Giants actually wish to see it, and Luffy is just so fucking stupid. He still doesn't understand that his fruit is actually Nika, right? So he doesn't fully understand his own abilities and powers at this point.
Yeah, what'd he say? He's like, yeah, Bonnie mentioned something about that. Man, in like the Giants, everybody seems to think that, that's probably why everybody seems to think that, I'm similar to this person or whatever, because we got the same form and shit like that.
He's
I
like,
was
yeah,
like, bro,
but I have no connection to this guy.
I don't know what they're
Yes, you
talking about.
do.
I don't know what they're talking about at all. Like, come on,
So,
Luffy.
anyways,
Grow a brain cell, Luffy. Come on, please.
uh, from there, the Giants though they actually finally mention Loki, right? And this is actually where Luffy asks what's wrong with him. Everyone starts proclaiming how evil Loki is. All the atrocities that had ever happened, right? They're talking about deaths and like Big Mom and these like droughts and stuff like that. Basically, if
Yeah.
it was a bad event that could have happened, it all got blamed on Loki.
Yeah, why not? He's a problem child.
And so he was shunned as a result, but when he finally killed the king, his father, Loki ran away. Shanks was able to actually capture him and brought him back, chaining him up to the tree 6 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Which is super messed up.
I mean, I was kind of wondering like who was if the king couldn't handle him, like who was actually able to handle him. So it makes sense that we get to know that Shanks was the one, because Shanks is that guy, But apparently, like Shanks comes and visits him still to this day for some reason. So I don't know. It just feels like Loki is being made into a bad guy, and I think he is a bad guy, but I don't think he is as bad as he's made out to believe. He's not as
You
bad as people is what they're wanting us to believe, is what I
you
think.
learn a lot more about him in the flashback that we'll see next year.
Yeah. Well, the thing the thing that gets me is like if Loki was such a bad guy, I think that Shanks wouldn't allow him to live, right? Or even if he did allow, even if he couldn't kill him, like whatever for whatever circumstances, I don't think Shanks would go visit him. You know what I mean? If he was truly a terrible, terrible person, you know what I mean? Obviously, he's got bad deeds to him, but
I think you should just wait until that flashback because you'll
yeah.
have
Well,
a completely different opinion after you watch it.
I'll have to wait till the flashback, but I like seeing if I'm wrong or right, you know, or having somebody remind me if I'm wrong or right because I don't remember what I say. So,
So, Luffy begins to walk away, right, at this point, because obviously he remembers the deal that he made. And he's almost caught before he lies and just kind of books it, right?
so I'm going to find Miku. I'm going to find meat.
Yeah. Zoro ends up noticing this, which makes him follow Luffy. In between all of this, we actually do get a little snippet of Loki being met by the God's Knights.
Mm-hmm.
But we go back and turns out Luffy is telling Zoro of Loki's deal. Zoro's telling Luffy that Loki is lying. Luffy says, I don't care. I want to meet Shanks. Don't you know how badly I want to meet Shanks? And I think everyone in the entire universe was like, shut the fuck up, we know.
Yeah, it's like, bro, calm down. You know, you will get to meet Shanks eventually when the time is right, Luffy. It doesn't mean you need to go release something that everyone wants to keep locked up. You know,
Exactly.
you're literally gonna upset everyone if you go and release this dude. For what? Just to maybe get information on Shanks where he was like how long ago? Like Shanks ain't even there no more, bro. What are you talking about?
We don't know that. We don't know that. Shanks could actually be at his home base and Loki might know where that is.
Yeah, but we don't know that. And Luffy don't know
Exactly.
that either. He's
Exactly.
he Luffy.
It's
Oh,
it's it's worth the risk,
I'm
right?
so
No.
glad Zoro at least is a little bit smarter than Luffy. So
Nah, dude. If Loki's lying, Luffy will just kick his ass, remember?
yeah, exactly.
But Nami actually she shows up and she's like, "Do you guys even know where the key is?"
They don't care.
No, okay. Well, let's go to the treasure so that way I can go steal it all and you guys can get your key. And she literally convinces Roto to take them to the castle, turn the other cheek while they get the key and all the treasure.
Yeah, because Nami's seeing berries.
Yep, always. Um it's it was also pretty funny too. Zeus establishes that he's actually the first servant. Sanji is the second servant, and Roto is actually now the third servant of Nami in that order.
He said that matters. That matters. It matters.
Yeah, you can't be thinking that you're higher up than what you are. Know your place.
Oh.
Back to Loki though, we see that the God Knights are trying to recruit him, and he refuses outright before they say anything. An arrow starts to float and starts whipping around, which then introduces us to Gunko, God Knight. Gunko is the one that was in the pink cloak with the blue hair.
Yeah, the woman.
So we finally get introduced to her. A wolf actually appears behind them, one of those big giant wolves. And she actually uses the arrow to wrap around the wolf, crushing it in the air, and then holding it up in front of Loki. The man in the cloak says, "If I offered to save your friend, would you join us then?" To which Loki says, May your death be in peace, friend. I will use your death as my fuel to burn this world to the ground.
Yeah. I kind of like Loki. He's like, oh, this how we gonna play this game? Y'all gonna wish you hadn't. You know what I mean? But also, like, I'm kind of curious as to why he didn't jump at the chance to be released. Because they were offering to release him, but with the caveat of joining their group or whatever, right? And so, like, either he doesn't want to be contained or he doesn't like that group. And it seems like they've asked him before, so it's pretty interesting.
Well, he did say it himself. He was like, I'm not gonna waste my life
A
being
lapdog
a
or
slave,
something.
basically.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So I mean, he obviously knows that something's gonna go on. Spoiler, you will find out later on. But until then,
We don't
we
know,
don't. Yeah,
or at least most of us
you
don't
don't
know.
know.
Yeah, most of us don't know. But it is a pretty interesting way to end this episode though, because up until now, it's just been partying. It's just been you know basically exploring Elbaph island or whatever, and now we're starting to get some uh leads to what's coming next, I guess. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. That was for the episode.
Hell yeah.
Left us off with just that little bit of a snippet where he is starting to reveal his motivation and stuff like that. Loki is.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to be getting introduced to a couple characters this season. One of which is going to be the gentleman in the cloak. His name will be revealed with the next episode.
Yeah. It actually revealed it in the next episode reveal or whatever. So
I know it did.
good old
I'm
One
still
Piece.
not. I'm still not gonna go ahead and say it just
Uh,
because.
but I do like his voice actor. I like the way the character handled himself. So because we did hear him talk a few times. So
Yes, yes, we did.
it's gonna be fun, Nom. It's gonna be fun.
Indeed, and that was it though for the episode. So
Alrighty, you ain't got nothing else.
no,
Alrighty. Well, we only got episode or 2 episodes or so left of One Piece before we go on the seasonal break, and then it'll be coming back in the fall, I believe it is. So, but that's gonna be it for this spring rundown. We only got like I said, another episode of the rundown before we transition into the summer rundown. So hopefully everyone's ready for it. Next week we be on the lookout for um the the summer preview we got coming up. Uh, we had a lot of fun. I had the 950 Club boys over, and we talked about a bunch of different anime. So that's on our list for summertime. So if you don't know what to watch yet, maybe listen to that episode and see what we got going on. So, but other than that, linktree.com/anime degens, and we will catch you on Wednesday next week. Peace.